White House advisor Kellyanne Conway told a woman to shut up after she accused Trump of wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare. Now, this happened during the Attorney General William Barr's rollout of an elder fraud program in Tampa. Now, this is in Florida. While Kellyanne Conway was speaking, she was, of course, interrupted. Tampa Bay Times correspondent Anastasia Dawson reported that the woman was told to shut up and sit down, according to reports, after she had again accused and said, hey, Trump's going to cut Social Security. He's going to cut Medicare. And so we don't want you to do that. Conway, however, did not directly answer the woman's question of if that is the case. Well, that's because they couldn't answer that question. There's no good answer to that. Now, she did respond to it and said, I'm pretty sure that will make you a superstar tonight, but I'm here for the seniors. That's condescension. Oh, that's dripping with condescension. And said, it's easy to be loud. It's far more difficult than to do something about it. Okay, well, what are they planning to do for Medicare and Social Security? Glad you asked. Now, so far, they're planning reductions in spending, right? So now they're spending it as, oh, no, it's just reductions in spending. We're not actually cutting any benefits. And so far, from what I've read, that is true. So far, right? Now, that doesn't mean that they don't want to cut so-called entitlements later on and actually start to cut into benefits. And look, the reason that they're not right now is because it's political suicide. But they are cutting Social Security and they are cutting Medicaid. And so that's what they're trying to do first. We're going to take out Medicaid and then we're going to chip away Social Security. And then when nobody's looking, we're going to take out Medicare. So understand that's always been in the conservative playbook, even if right now that's not in the current bill, right? And these are, by the way, based on Trump's budgets. So now, in Trump's budget, when it comes to Social Security, and mainly they're not touching retirement at the moment because, again, old people, right, who generally vote more conservative, and it would be political suicide. They do go after disability. And so they target disability with, it's filled with fraud and abuse and people that aren't actually disabled getting disability checks. So we're going to try to cut down on that, right? So now, according to the bill, disability and Social Security assistance would be cut by reducing retroactive benefits to beneficiaries can receive from 12 months to 6. That means a worker who becomes disabled would only be eligible for half the amount of retroactive benefits once he or she applies. So understand that applying for disability can take a very, very long time, right? Now, if you're disabled, that doesn't mean your bills stop coming, right? It also means you can't exactly work if you're disabled. So you will continue to rack up bills, possibly medical bills, and need that retroactive income because the reason that it's there is to help you catch up on your medical and on your costs of living. You cut that in half, well, that makes it very, very difficult for people who are already in an incredibly difficult situation to even be able to catch up. So that's devastating. Now, they're cutting Medicaid. Well, look, the Trump budget takes an axe to Medicaid. And how they do so is by turning it into a block grant program. So now that allows states to basically get a set amount of money and then do whatever they want with it. And now what they could do is, again, that leads to cutting benefits because they only have a fixed amount of money. Right now, how it works is that they get however much money that they need from the federal government, right? So now if you have a downturn in an area, they start losing jobs, an economic downturn. A lot of people decided, well, look, we can't find jobs. We need healthcare. We can afford healthcare. So now we're eligible for Medicaid and decide to sign up. Well, these people are going to get denied because what if they're out of money? That's the problem, right? And again, cutting benefits in order to save money. And then you have states where they could just take that money from Medicaid and say, yeah, we're not going to really offer Medicaid. We're going to plug our state budget holes. with the money. That's basically what block grant programs allow you to do, is whatever you decide you want to do. Now they say, it's freedom for the states. We should have the states be able to make the freedom to do the choice to do whatever they want with the money. I mean, they could spend it on healthcare, but maybe they don't want to. We ran a deficit because we wanted to cut taxes for corporations. So let's just use that money to fill the hole so that we have a balanced budget. I mean, they could if they wanted to. And by the way, they could justify all of these different cuts by, as I said before, saying, look at all the waste, fraud, and abuse we have in the system. That's why we have to turn it over to the states, because the federal government is bloated and inefficient. States can do it better. And you know, a lot of these people that are on disability, well, they don't need it anyway. They're not actually disabled. And so understand that's what they're trying to do. And so now, look, in reality, of course, they don't want these programs to exist, and that's why they do all this stuff. But the only answer that Kellyanne Conway can give to the question of if you're going to actually cut these programs is sit down and shut up. I mean, what an answer, right? But understand, this is how they see people like us, as not even human beings worth consideration. How dare you challenge me? How dare you? No, you just sit down, you shut your mouth and listen while we lie about having your best interests at heart. I'm just here for the seniors. Really? You're here for the seniors. No, you're not here for them. No. There are people there that need those programs, and all they want to do, the Republicans, is cut, with the help of corporate Democrats. And then when they cut that money, they then take what they saved and put it in tax cuts for the rich or corporate subsidies. They give it to the donors. So this woman is very right to be worried. And look, so is Kellyanne Conway, by the way, because it turns out not a lot of people believe in Kellyanne Conway because she's been shown to have been a complete and utter shameless liar. They know she lies. They know she spreads disinformation, and that she, along with a lot of Republicans, truly despise the poor. If you are elderly, poor, or disabled, or any number of those things, right, and you're worried about the very things you rely on for survival, just remember this. Kellyanne Conway wants you to shut up. That's how they really feel about you, man. Sit down, shut up, and take our crumbs. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.